Good afternoon and welcome to Let's Connect Me. Almost a week ago we started, and this is already the final session we are going to bring to you.
Since Thursday last week, we broadcasted 2 live sessions a day, one at 11 in the morning and one at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This is session number 10, the last one. My name is Dianne van Mun.
And my name is Marianne de Groes, and we are your online host for Let's Connect Me.
Mastervolt Technical Highlights is the title of our 10th online session. We're standing here with Michel van der Val, one of the presenters. Welcome, Michel.
Thank you, Dianne.
What technical highlights can we expect?
Well, we are not going to say anything right yet, but there will be several technical highlights there.
Okay.
That sounds very promising.
Of course.
Well, thank you, Michel. We will see you in a flash.
Okay.
This is your last chance to interact with us via this broadcast. And if you look on your screen, on your right, you can see the Q&A. There you can fill in as many questions as you want, and after the sessions, our experts are ready to answer them.
But first we go to... This is Brain Trainer, and as this is the last one, we came up with a tricky question. MedStraight started in 1988, but how many days were Marianne and I present at MedTrace since that day? So not years, but the number of dates we both be present at the stand. Send in your answer, and the one who's closest will win a digital Let's Connect Me surprise.
Oh, what a surprise. At the end of the show, we will tell you who the winner is. But now it's time for some technical highlights. Starting off with Michel van der Val, and later on, which Eric Swallow will join in. Michel and Eric, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, ladies. And welcome, everybody, to the technical Mastervolt highlights of the Let's Connect Me. We're going to talk about 3 topics. First of all, I will talk about the CombiMaster. Eric will talk about the MLI Ultra. And then I will close with the ChargeMaster Plus. The CombiMaster. In 2019, we have introduced a new range of combis called the CombiMaster. We've introduced 4 models, a 2000 and a 3000 watt model in 230 and 120 volt versions. In this year, in April, we introduced even another model, a 120 volt version, 1500 watts. And next year, we will introduce something more. The bigger units. As you can see here, on my side, this is the new CombiMaster. These will be introduced in a 3500 watt model, 12 and 24 volts, a 4500 watt model, and even a 48 volts 5000 watt model. Unique features of these units is that they can be used in parallel, and also they can be used for split phase systems. What another nice feature of these units is that the AC input current can be paralleled as well. So one unit can switch through 50 amps of current. Now if I use 2 of these units, the current will be increased to 100 amps, which of course is a big improvement. Next to that, we have 1 AC input and 1 AC output. And of course, to handle all this big power, we have also thought about how to connect the DC wires on these units. Now here you see that we have multiple options for the DC wires to be connected. You can either connect it with double wires on the plus and double wires on the minus, or if you want to use very thick cable, you have the option to do it with a single wire with an M8 bolt. These units will also be using Master Bus, and also C-Zone will be available with these units. So look out for next year. The first models which will come, 120 volts, will be introduced around June next year. Now the CombiMaster is a very nice combi, of course, but we get a lot of questions. Michel, do we have to set it up with a computer? Well, that's not needed anymore. Of course you can, but it's not needed because you can also do it with a single dip switch. Dip switch 1 and 2 on the units, if you want to use it as a single unit or a master bus unit, so in a master bus network, dip switch 1 and 2 should be set to on. Dip switch number 3, 4 and 5 are used to select the appropriate battery type you're charging. So whether it be a flooded battery, AGM, gel or lithium ion, the CombiMaster can handle it with a dip switch. Here you have the flooded, the AGM, gel and of course lithium ion batteries. Now there's another feature in the CombiMaster which is not always as clear as people understand it, because I get a lot of questions in the Power Academy about this. And this is called power sharing and AC in support function. Now what is power sharing? In this example here you will see that I have set the shore fuse to a level of 6 amps. In this system we have a load of 4 amps, so there's only 2 amps available for the charger. Now the unit will handle it by itself. So as soon as I put a bigger load on the system, so an example picture again for you, so 6 amp shore fuse and a 6 amp load, then of course the simple calculation, we only have 0 amps for the charger. The unit will do this by itself, so it will unburden your customer. Now if, because then the question comes, yeah Michel, what happens if I connect a bigger load? Well, then of course you will trip your fuse, but of course, also for that, we have introduced a simple function, which we called AC in support. AC in support is activated by setting dip switch number 7 to the on position. In this example, what we have chosen here, again, the 6 amp shore limit is set. We have a 9 amp load. So, in order for that to be powered and not to trip the shore fuse, the inverter will kick in and start to deliver current to the load. So your load will be powered by shore and the inverter. The CombiMaster can of course also now be used in C-Zone. If you want to use the CombiMaster in C-Zone, very easily set dip switch number 1 and 2 to the off position, where dip switch number 3 up to 10 can be used for the unique ID address, the network address, which you will set in the configuration tool. In the configuration tool, you select the module CombiMaster, you select the type, as you can see here in the example, you select your battery, and be done. Write this configuration to your C-Zone network, and your Combi will function as you want it to do. Do you want to control the CombiMaster through C-Zone? You have 2 options. Either a C-Zone display, a touch 7, touch 5, touch 10, or of course a multifunction display, an MFD from a third party. Now next to this we get a lot of questions when people want to use our CombiMaster in systems where they do not want to use a Mastervolt or C-Zone display. And they ask us, okay, how can I integrate this CombiMaster in my wiring loom? I want to switch the inverter on and off with a simple switch. Can that be done? Mastervolt has thought about this. We have 2 options. Either on the bottom of the CombiMaster, as you can see here, this green connector has a little link. I don't know if it's very clear, but on this link, this is making a connection, as you can see in the picture as well. If you remove this link and you put a simple switch there, then the inverter can be controlled with a single switch. One little note, the main switch, which is on this side of the unit, should be in the on position. Now there's another option for this, and you can do this by applying a plus to the unit, a switched plus. So for example, in a service van where we want to only have the inverter running when the engine is on, then we use from the ignition switch a plus going to this green connector, which will then switch the inverter on and off. One little note, this switch, the power switch on the unit, should be in the charge only position. As soon as you apply AC to the CombiMaster, it will always start to charge your batteries. So Eric, next subject is for you. MLI Ultra.
Thank you very much, Michel, for the introduction.
Tell them all about it.
Thank you. And indeed, we have prepared a number of topics for the lithium-ion Ultra. And obviously, we would like to show you this very lovely product here on my right. But before we dive into that, just like Michel, we quite often get the question, so if I buy your batteries, do I need to connect it to a computer in order to use it? And also what you will see with this new product and also the improvements which we have made over our current products, and also moving forward what we are going to make into our products, we are clearly distinguishing two directions. So the first direction is a base MLI Ultra system. And a base MLI Ultra system in this case means you buy this product in the box, you put it in the system, and actually you should not need to do anything in order to make it work. But in addition, we've also made it easier to make some fundamental or base changes to the product functionality via the dip switches. And what that functionality is, we're going to touch on that a little bit later. In addition, the smart remote will also become available starting January 2021 with the functionality of having the lithium-ion support in there. So if you buy this wonderful product together with your smart remote, it's plug and play and you're good to go. And then the other direction is a more advanced MLI Ultra system. And there we see that customers have very varied systems with completely different needs. And via the use of events and settings and a little bit of programming, you can build very large and beautiful systems with a lot of added functionality and with a lot of advanced functionality. And depending on the need of the customer, we have a solution to tailor to the needs. So then looking into the MLI 1250. To begin with, it's a very compact solution, and we're going to touch on what that means a little bit later. One of the major advantages now is also that on this side here, the safety switch is now fully integrated into the product. So no longer you need to buy an external component, you just buy the battery, everything is inside. Obviously it comes with the top of the line BMS, like we have always done. And one of the cool new features is also that the thermal management is inside. Again, it's on the bottom here, we're going to touch on that a little bit later on what does it do and how does it work. Then in addition, this product has also been made so that you can actually put these in series all the way up to 48 volt. So again, the safety circuitry inside allows you to put them in series without any additional bells and whistles. And like I just mentioned, we have the auto config options via the dip switches. Last but not least, we have the master bus and C-zone for a more advanced system, because this product is also very well established for those more advanced systems. And via this small connector, you also get a dry contact and an analog output. And again, we're going to touch on that in more detail. And there's more into this product. So first off, how does it roughly look like? And I have a sample here of the T1 plastics in front of me, and this is a complete working product. So one of the key things was here, again, the dimensions. So the base dimension of the product is 330 times 173 times 210. It's a very small and compact product. And you can see that here. Also if you look from the top side, it's quite small. There were two main challenges here, and that was in this market and where this product is going to be positioned, there are two standard battery groups which are quite common. And that is group 31, which is typically an US battery group, and it has the dimensions mentioned on the screen. And what you see is that the complete product fits within those dimensions. So that means that this new product is fully compliant with group 31. The second part, which is more within the European market, a common standard, is group 49. And the challenge with group 49 is that the footprint, so the bottom side of the product, pretty much this entire surface area, that is completely compliant with group 49. However, what you will see is that the height requirement, the battery is going to be a little bit higher. So the new product, fully compliant with group 31, and for group 49, it's fully compliant with the footprint. So that brings us now into a total range of 5 products. The 3 base products, which we also reintroduced last year with additional functionality, and these new 2 products, which we are going to introduce in the coming year. And then if you put the range next to each other, you clearly have the overview of the voltage levels, the nominal capacities, and also the watt hour. In addition, the same cycle life definition applies to the entire range, and we will continue to move forward with that. Also for this product, the discharge current is rated at 2 Cs, So it's quite energy dense. The small product fits within the standard footprints. The bigger products pretty much have defined their own footprint by now over the many years that we have brought this to the market. This new version comes also with being fully IP65. And the battery monitor and also the battery management is integrated. The battery switch is also inside, and it comes with the dip switches, which we're going to touch on soon. In addition, it also has 3 LEDs with some additional user interface support, and this product has been set up in such a way that you can easily make a system for 48 volt with this. So then the first 4 additional functions we're going to touch on, and after that we're going to touch on 5 more of these functions. So the first one was auto-configure stop charge. And for the people who are experienced with us, stop charge is for us a means to make the battery in combination with the battery charger to provide the smoothest and best charging experience for the customer. And in this case, we took it a step further. So you install the battery into your system, and the only thing the customer should do then is flip the dip switch. That means that the battery will start scanning the master bus, communication bus, and it will look for chargers, enable chargers, and that is roughly this list. And if a charger is found, it will automatically configure a stop charge event into that charger. And what that means is that if the battery at the end of its charge cycle wants to control the charger, it will automatically happen. There's no additional steps needed. No one has to actually do anything. If a charger is swapped or changed or no longer available, because it is always scanning the master bus, it also means that if you replace a product from your system, it will automatically reconfigure this functionality. And that means that with this means, we can still provide the automatic stop charge to create that smoothest experience, but it no longer requires any manual programming. One small note is that all the chargers on the master bus, which are found by this battery, will be programmed. So for the more advanced systems, you will most likely still want to manually program this if you have multiple chargers and multiple battery packs. But in light of making it easier to operate for a simple system, this would be a very easy way to get the base functionality in there. The same way of thinking we also applied to the cluster. So a cluster is actually multiple batteries being represented as a single battery bank to the user. So again, we basically say you buy the amount of batteries that you need to create a certain battery pack. And for example, we said, let's take a battery pack of 36 volts. So you would buy 3 of these 12 volt batteries and you want to put them in series. You have a primary battery, which is the main battery, and you have 2 batteries which are in support, the replicas. The first thing you're going to do is you will set the dip switch, which has to do with clustering, to 001, so via the dip switches. After that, you go to the primary battery and you set the other dip switch. The moment that the primary receives a new dip switch setting, depending on the selection you've made, it will start scanning the bus and look for the other batteries which it needs to find in order to form a proper cluster. If it has found those batteries, it will automatically program them to become part of the cluster, and via the LED on top, you will receive feedback that it was successful. If it's not successful, you will also get that same feedback. And then the next step is click on the smart remote, and within the smart remote, you will then only have 1 battery which you can select, and that is the cluster master, and that battery will show you then the entire battery bank as a whole. So a little bit in addition for the dip switches, standard out of the box 000, 001 for the replicas. Then you have primary 12 volt and primary 24 volt. So you can imagine for 12 volt you can put 2 of the batteries in series, or you can put multiple 12 volt or 24 volt batteries in parallel. And we also provide this functionality for creating 36 volt strings and also for 48 volt strings. Then the next one is the auto internal battery switch close. So most people who have worked with our bigger batteries know that the relay automatically opens up if something happens in the system, and then someone has to decide via a display or manually that the situation is safe again, close the relay, and then normal operation continues. For this battery, we have included that functionality inside the battery. Why? It's great functionality, and we believe also that the battery knows best what it needs. So it also knows best what is the best moment to re-engage. So how does it work? Out of the box, this functionality is enabled. So you don't have to do anything. You just put the battery in the system. It will automatically engage. You can use it, and if the battery is unhappy, it will disconnect itself until the situation has been restored. We can also imagine that there are moments where the customer does not want this automatic functionality, maybe for some kind of servicing. So we have made it so that if you change the dip switch setting, the automatic re-engage functionality is discontinued, and then the button on top, which is also here, actually controls the status of the switch. And again, after the servicing, you can again put the dip switch back to normal, and then the battery automatically arranges everything itself. Another feature is working with a wide range of chargers. So what we have seen is that the standard Mastervolt chargers always provide DC output. But we've also seen chargers in the market where the DC output is only happening when a battery is being detected on the charging leads. And the challenge with these kind of systems is that if the battery for whatever reason decides to disconnect and it needs to sense a charger, so for instance the battery is slowly being discharged, it wants to sense a charger before it re-engages. If the charger at that moment waits before it actually senses a battery, you get a chicken and an egg situation of who comes first. So what we have implemented in the product is a small bypass circuit, and that means that on the poles, if the battery is disconnected and you flip that dip switch, then there's always a little bit of energy available on the poles. And that little bit of energy is enough to trigger the charger, who basically needs to detect a battery, to start charging. For any typical system, you would not need this kind of functionality, but we have found some applications where actually this will help out with also other type of chargers. Then the next 5 functions. So first off, the thermal control inside, and that is the heat pad, and that is mounted on the bottom side of the cells to also have the best connection with the inside of the battery. So all MLI 1250 come with an integrated heat pad, and the heat pad will function automatically because the battery knows for itself when is the most opportune moment to actually enable it. If the ambient temperature is below 0 degrees and a charger is connected, then the heat pad will automatically enable itself until it reaches roughly 5 degrees Celsius, and then it will disconnect. And if that happens, it roughly needs 1 hour all the way from -20 to get to the above 0 degrees. And for most people who are a little bit familiar with lithium-ion, you know that you really want to charge the battery above 0 degrees. In addition, we've also seen that for some applications, maybe there is no charger connected, but still it makes sense that you don't want the ambient temperature or the battery temperature to drop below 0 degrees. In that case, we've also created events which allow the system to actually trigger and enable the heat pad. And that gives you a wider range of operating methods to actually use the complete battery in your system. The next up, also a question which you get quite often is, okay, I would like to create multiple batteries in series. What would I need? And I now have a very simple answer. If you buy this product, the only thing you need to think about is proper wiring and proper fusing, depending on the system load and depending on the chosen wire size. The safety circuitry inside is rated all the way up to 48 volt. So with a 12 volt model and 24 volt model, you create any combinations which is not above 48 volt. The second part is that we also said, via the dip switches, you can create simple systems and allow them to work as a single battery bank. And via the Master Bus C zone, you can create advanced systems. And an advanced system could, for instance, be 2 series and 2 parallel. Or even something more crazy. I'm pretty sure that we have customers who can think up of something like that. And one of the other benefits is also with the cluster functionalities, the batteries actually work together. So what you typically see if you take the off-the-shelf, non-communicating products in the market, you put them in series, it will work for a while, but there are always minor differences in the way the chemistry inside the cells work, and that always, over time, means that slowly they are moving out of sync, and that means that the customer loses usable capacity. And the benefit of our system still, also with the communication line in there and the cluster functionality, the batteries know from each other what their actual usable capacity is, and they align that. So you always have the maximum available capacity in your system. And also then the additional benefit is because the batteries communicate to each other, they also can be represented as a single battery bank on a battery monitor. And that means that the customer always have all the information they need available on a display. We've added some additional functionality. So the first off is the state of charge gauge. And that is an analog signal which gives out a value between 0 and 10 volts. And that 0 to 10 volts represents 0% state of charge all the way up to 100% state of charge. And there are standard monitors on the market which typically require such a signal and translate it easy to a value which has a meaning for the customer. And it comes now out of the box as this typical value. Depending also on the feedback, we can program other values in there as well. Another one is the dry contact. So a dry contact allows you to switch a different type of circuit somewhere else in the system. And again, this can be programmed depending on temperature, depending on state of charge, depending on various other parameters to switch something else in the system. And that gives you even more means to control your system. And both these functions are in here in this additional connector, which is there specifically for those functions. And then we have another interesting one, so auto recovery mode. And that is if you have been working with our bigger lithium-ion batteries and you had the unfortunate event of a very deeply discharged battery, we always made it so that the technician has to go to that system, perform some diagnostics on that battery and determine if it's safe to continue operation. And we find that a lot of people think this is a very challenging situation and would much rather want to have something automated there. So that's also what we have said. If the battery accidentally has been deeply discharged, and unfortunately it happens, the only thing that we do right now is say, please take this battery, put on the charger and just wait. Inside the battery, there's a very small trickle charger. And that very small trickle charger will slowly bring that battery up to a normal level. And then the battery will perform diagnostics. So the battery itself internally will verify, is it safe to continue to operate this battery? And if so, it will automatically re-engage. If not, it will disconnect itself permanently, and then you really need to get that level of support to deal with that situation. So that concludes the 9 very interesting features of the MLI 1250, but also 9 features which in some way will also move forward in our other models towards the future. We've seen on last Thursday that we have quite an extensive roadmap for lithium-ion products, and a lot of these improvements will also find their way, one way or the other, into the rest of the portfolio. One more thing then, which was about the mainstream batteries, and that's also we wanted to show a few highlights. So one of the things was also asked quite often is, okay, you have advertised last year the 80% depth of discharge, but again, can you tell me again what it means? So all our batteries are standard delivered with 80% depth of discharge. That means that when you look at your battery monitor, the customer will still see that it goes all the way up to 100% state of charge and all the way down to 0%. So from a customer point of view, they basically have access to that level of energy. But in reality, you're only actually using the area between 100% and 20% state of charge. So that lower 20% is hidden, and that is the buffer which the battery automatically is delivered with. And that buffer is there also linked to the warranty terms. We have also seen cases where customers truly say, well, we are not less concerned about those warranty conditions, we are more concerned that we really want to use the maximum capacity. And via the programming side, you can allow the installation to use more of the capacity. Another request was the history page in Master Adjust. So when we released the last 3 models, we had a very clear plan moving forward, and from our perspective, it would only take a few months before the history page would have been implemented. I have to say that reality took a different turn, so I'm happy to say now it's coming, and it's coming in January 21, and a little bit later than originally scheduled. And then one more thing I wanted to say, because next year, Mats, we're going to have another story to tell, and if you look at how fast and how much energy we are putting into our lithium-ion portfolio, also coming year we expect that we're going to give the MLI, the 3 bigger models, another update. So the current cells are 200 amp hours, and the next generation cells, which we have vetted already, are 230 amp hours, and they're going to find their way into the mainstream product in the coming year. And we will share much more information about that in a later stage. It also means that it's the same size and the same footprint as the standard models. So from the outside, nothing changes. But we also added 2 stretch targets for ourselves. So one of the big feedbacks and one of the main benefits of this battery is that the safety is now inside the product. We really would like to do the same step also for the bigger models. So integrate the ML switch into that design, or integrate another type of switch into the design, but make it so that out of the box you have a complete working system. And the second step also, which we have set out, is make the bigger batteries completely IP65, just to create the same line of products like this one, and also on all the models moving forward. Then I have one more highlight, which we also introduced last year, and that is the MLI Ultra Connect. So it started out with a specific customer wish, and it ended up at being a highly requested product, where we deliver a bracket, we deliver the bus bars, we deliver the T-fuse holder, and we deliver the ML switch, completely assembled as a package. And the only thing you have to do is mount it on top of your battery and hook it on. And we're getting loads and loads of requests for this product, so I could not properly end this presentation without showing you this again. And that brings me to the end of my story. And Michel, I give it back to you.
All right, Eric, thank you very much. It's been a lot of information, and I think a lot of customers would like this product. It's coming next year to you. All right, last subject of the day and the last subject of this nice session. ChargeMaster Plus. As you all know, in 2008, Mastervolt introduced the ChargeMaster family. A global AC input, and it had a display, it had a lot of information on the unit. And then we set out for a new ChargeMaster family, the ChargeMaster Plus. Now, what's the ChargeMaster Plus? Why is it called ChargeMaster Plus? First of all, we wanted to simplify the user interface. So from a charger with a display, we now went back to a charger with LEDs. But that's not the only thing, because the LEDs make it simple. Green is good, red is bad. A display, a lot of information. Most of the times your charger is placed in an engine room where nobody reads that, so we put all the information on your display, like the smart remote and like the EasyView 5. ChargeMaster Plus has been already on the market for a long time, with C-zone communication as well, of course. The Model 2 and 3 have been released, and next year we will come with the ChargeMaster Plus 1. Now, what makes the ChargeMaster Plus even more plus? Well, we have upgraded the AC input window. The current version of ChargeMasters all started from about 90 volts up to 265 volts. But then around 100 volts you don't have 100% output. So we have listened to the request from the customers, and we have upgraded the ChargeMaster Plus to give more power at lower voltages. So as you can see in the graph, you see that the charger starts at 80 volts, and at 100 volts it already delivers 100% of power. Even on the upper side, we have upgraded the AC input window. So up to 275 volts, these chargers can be used. So a very wide AC input window. Next to that, we have another plus. And that's the plus looking at the duration over temperature. So if you look at the graph here, this is from the current ChargeMaster. And it worked from -5 degrees up to 70 degrees. But at 60 degrees C, we only had about 40% of power coming out of these chargers. Also there we had a request to improve this. And as you can see in this graph, these new chargers will work from -25 all the way up to 70. And at 60 degrees, it gives you even 40% more output power. So that's a big plus for the ChargeMaster. So hence ChargeMaster Plus. Now, the coming year, we will introduce this model. This is the model which will come to the market next year. This is the ChargeMaster Plus 1. It's the design name. These models are 1235, 1250, 2420, and 2430. These units have 3 full outputs. That's of course, again, a plus. This is a drop-in replacement for the current type of ChargeMaster 1. So if you now have a 1235 and you want to replace it with the new model, simply put it in the same place and it will work. You have a bracket there, the holes are the same, it's all simple. There's another plus to this charger. Yeah, I know, it's ChargeMaster Plus. It's much lighter, 2.5 kilograms in comparison to the current charger, which is 4 kilograms. And we've also listened to the people who want to use it in high voltage circuits, because these units can be used up to 150 volts in series. The units have auto-detect outputs, so whenever you put a battery connected to output 1, 2 or 3, it will detect it and it will automatically start to charge your battery. So you can connect only 2 or just 1 or 3, doesn't matter. Charger will know it, auto-detect function. In the ChargeMaster Plus we have another feature which is very nice and which is called prefloat. Now what is prefloat and how does it work? I've made a little drawing for you guys so you can see what's happening. In this drawing you will see 3 groups of batteries. The service batteries, the bow thruster batteries and the start battery. Now in this example this charger is in the absorption phase, so the service batteries and bow thruster batteries are still being charged with sort of a current as you can see. But the start battery is already full. Now prefloat comes into play. Because if these two battery banks are still being charged and that other bank doesn't receive any current, we will drop down in charge voltage. And what will it benefit for you? It will extend your battery life. So prefloat is the way to go. Now, of course, ChargeMaster 1 is there. We have, of course, also the other models. And I want to look at those models as well with their features. ChargeMaster 2, for example. ChargeMaster 2 is the 1275 with 3 outputs, the 12100 with 3 outputs, 2440 and 2460, all with 3 outputs. Standard from the box, these chargers have full outputs, so each output can give the full current from the charger. But the third output on these chargers is a smart in and output. Now what's so smart? Well, the third output can be set up to charge a smaller battery with limited current. And you can do that by setting a dip switch. Set a dip switch and the output number 3 will be limited to 10 amps in total. So you can charge a small start battery and still have a lot of current left for your bow thruster and your service batteries. On 24 volt models even, there's something much more smarter about these chargers, because you can set the third output to be charging a 12 volt battery. Also, that can be set with its own battery type selection, so you can mix chemistries with one charger, which is unique in the market. Last but not least, these chargers, the third output can also be set up as an in and output. We call this bidirectional charger, and you can set this up with master bus or C-zone. Now, what is bidirectional charging, you may ask yourself. Of course, I've provided with a little example here. In this case, we have 3 batteries connected, service, bow thruster, and again starter. We have an alternator connected to the starter battery. We have AC in, so the charger will charge all the battery banks. no problem. But now the following. Now we switch off the AC and we switch on the engine. And now the smart comes into play, because now the smart output will be an input and will transfer current from the alternator to the bow thruster and service batteries. So these batteries are also being charged by just having one charger and an alternator to your start battery. Easy does it. And last but not least, in these models, we have, of course, the ChargeMaster Plus 3. The models are 2480 with 2 outputs and 24110 with 2 outputs. The size of these chargers, that's very unique, because it's the same size as the Model 2, but it has more power. So a smaller package, more power, even up to 110 amp. One full output and one smart output. Now you think, I hear the word smart all the time. Well, again, this charger has the second output, can be charging with 20 amp a 24 volt battery. And you can limit it to 10 amps with a dip switch. But you can also set this second output to charge a 12 volt battery. Select your own battery type so you can mix chemistries. And that's a very handy thing of the ChargeMaster Plus. The Model 2 and Model 3 all have auto-detect outputs, so no matter where you connect your battery will be charged by the ChargeMaster Plus. Now, I get to the end of this presentation. I've got some key takeaways for the technical highlights. And these key takeaways are: the CombiMaster is the most powerful combi, which can be used as a single unit or can be part of a master bus or C-zone network and can be used anywhere. The MLI 1250, this little brother here, is small, but it can be used in all kinds of purposes and all kinds of environments. It's easy to set up without the need of a computer. And last but not least is the ChargeMaster Plus. It's the charger family which will fit all your needs. Easy to set up, it's more power at higher temperatures, AC global power input, and of course smart outputs, so for all your battery chemistries. This is all I wanted to tell you. It's the end of our presentation. Ladies.
Thank you, Michel. I think a lot of viewers know you from the Power Academy trainings, so this kind of presenting is not new for you. Or are there still any differences?
Well, there are a few differences. I miss the interaction with the public. What we normally have in the Power Academy is people in front of me or people on the webcam. And of course, with the METS event, I miss all the people here in the floor where we can interact with them.
Yeah, we all do.
Okay, but what do you prefer?
Of course, doing it live with all the people around me.
Oh, well, I expected that. Well, during your presentation, a lot of questions came in. Diane, this is session number 10. Did you pay enough attention to answer all the questions right now?
Of course, no problem. But I suddenly feel a headache coming up, so I'm glad we have the real experts nearby to join us. Thank you, Eric, for joining. I think you just saved me from making a fool out of me. Everybody knows you have both the knowledge and expertise to answer all incoming questions.
But now we make room for Michel and Eric, and I ask Hans Poppelier to join us so he can present the questions. Hello, Hans.
Thank you very much, ladies.
Did you make a nice selection for us?
Yeah, we did. So we got about 35 questions.
That is more than enough. So quickly, let's start with the first question.
So we got 35 questions. We selected 17. After this session, you can actually read all the answers on the portal as well. So let's get started. Gentlemen, what will happen when one unit fails in a parallel setup of the new CombiMaster, the 5 and 3 kilowatt?
Well, that's a very good question, Hans. These units are redundant, so as soon as I have 2 or 3 connected and one will fail, the rest of the system will still continue to work.
Yeah, sounds very positive, Michel. Second question, you can take that as well if you want. Mm-hmm. Can we finally parallel the actual internal relays? And
Sorry, can you repeat?
Can we parallel the bypass system of the new CombiMaster?
Yeah, we can.
We can. And the second question is related to this. How will that work with power sharing?
The power sharing, well, that will be, of course, generated with one cluster master, but the sharing of the power goes through cabling on the bottom. So there will be extra cabling to share the AC power when switching through.
All right. An easy one. Eric, is the complete MLI Ultra IP65 or as with the 2750 and the 5500, only the top compartment?
The complete MLI 1250 is IP65.
All right. Fourth question, will auto configure stop charge be also available on the 2750 and the 5500?
We expected this question, and I think the answer is going to be yes. There are a lot of people looking forward to this, so yes. But exact timeline is TBD.
All right, thank you, Eric. Michel, will the heat pad of the new MLI 1250 switch on all the time or only when there is charge available?
I think Eric is the better one to answer these questions. I don't know all the details yet. Power Academy coming year will tell me more.
But the heat pad will switch on automatically when there's a charger available. If you would also like to switch it on under different operating conditions, then via the Masterbus and C-Zone event structure, you can set for yourself when do you want to additionally put the heat pad on.
All right. Question 6. So that's quite a difficult one. When will the 230 volt combis be available for the larger combis? Any of you gentlemen?
Yeah, the 230, Eric.
We expect for the coming year to round up the development of the CombiMaster 120 volt. And it is very highly likely that the CombiMaster 230 volt will be the follow-up development. And then we're talking about early 2022, when you can expect something of a 230 volt CombiMaster at high power. And I'm pretty sure it will become a very important topic for then next year's METS.
All right. A question related to this. Is the new CombiMaster actually going to be in VA rated or in watts? Mies, I take a one?
I would say the 120 volts, that's rated in watts. And
Right.
the 230 still needs to be determined.
All right. Question 7. And that's, I had some difficulty understanding the question, but I do now. So the CombiMaster can be put into scan mode. So it is off and it scans the line to see if there's power.
Mm-hmm.
That now has a certain quite high level before it switches on. And the question is, can we reduce that level so that it actually switches on when your mobile phone is connected or your PC or your laptop?
I think we also offer this functionality with one of our other Combi products. And I presume the question is raised from the same person who sent me an email not too long about this topic. So we are looking into the possibility to actually make it settable, that you can actually change that level. But for now, no, it works like it works.
Okay. Some of the audience paid really well attention to your presentation, Michel. And the question is the new CombiMaster also going to be available in 3-phase operation?
No, the new CombiMaster will only be available in single phase and split phase operation.
Okay.
So 3-phase is still for the Combi Pro and Combi Ultra.
Okay. I left out the next question. I left out the ugly things the customer said, but the question is, you guys changed your charges voltage for the lithium-ion batteries from 14.25 to 14 volt and now back again.
Yep.
What is it? Is it 14 volt or 14.25?
Our standard charging voltage for lithium-ion is still 14.25 and 28.5.
Yes.
And what we have also said is that we have made improvements into the state of charge algorithms, that also when the charger is actually doing 14 volt or 28 volt, you can still properly charge your batteries. And what we also have seen over time is that if you want to get more cycle life out of your battery, the less the battery is being stressed, the better. So both sides work perfectly fine.
All right. Question 10. We still have 7 questions to go. The MLI 1250, is it possible to connect it in higher voltages than 48 volts? So you explained 48 volt is doable already with 2 in series. Can we go above that?
No. And pretty much because the internal safety circuit is not suited up for above 48 volt. On the roadmap, we have plans to create a version which is actually suitable for higher voltages, but then we take the relay switch out and then we replace that with a bus bar, and then we need to think about the external control mechanisms. That is not something for in the coming period, but it's definitely something we're going to look into after the release of this product, and also depends on your feedback towards your account managers, which hopefully ends up at our desk.
All right. A question on 48 volts in general. So are we planning to have 40 volt 48-volt batteries in our portfolio?
I think on last Thursday we had the lithium-ion roadmap session, and if you remember, then we are currently having 3 parallel projects. So A, the MLI 1250, B, the MLI 3000 and 6000, but also the third project, which is a complete line of 48-volt batteries, ranging from 1 kW all the way to 12 kWh.
All right. Michel, can we start an engine with an MLI 1250?
I think so.
I think so. I think there is some limitations to it, so if the battery thinks it's enough, it will shut down.
Exactly, the battery will protect itself.
All right. All right, we're getting there, guys. I have a very interesting question from our friends in Belgium, I guess. and he's stating that he can sell hundreds of thousands of 1000 VA small CombiMasters.
Great.
Eric, is there a smaller CombiMaster on the roadmap?
Definitely yes. I think, again, also like we stated Thursday, it's positive for us that we have so many opportunities that we can jump on. It's on the other hand negative that we just don't have the capability to do everything at the same time. So yes, it is. Yes, we would like to. We have to find a time slot to actually do it. So yes.
All right. Question for Mies. Are parallel and series compositions possible with the MLI 1250, and what is the max number of units in parallel?
The maximum units are in parallel. I would say, is that the same on the MLI Ultras? Then the limit is 24.
Batteries in parallel?
Batteries in parallel, yes, correct.
That's a pretty big system, I guess.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right. Now that's a tricky...
But also the first question is a combination of series and parallel.
Yeah.
So 2 series, 2 parallel, 4 series, 4 parallel, it's all possible.
All right. A tricky question that we had to think about a little bit. So can you actually charge the MLI 1250 with an alternator?
Yes, you can.
Okay, and where is the limitation in that?
Of course, there is a limitation where the battery would be in safety, and the safety would open up, where then you have to protect the alternator. That's of course something which is provided by our Alpha Pro regulator, which will of course be protected by the stop charge command. So using a standard alternator will have the possibility, if you're only using one battery, that battery will open up and the alternator can then be damaged. In order to provide for that, we can always talk about solutions, and application engineering is the department to talk to. So send your email to ae@mastervolt.com, ae@mastervolt.com, and I will help you to find a solution.
All right, 2 more questions. Stop charge for the MLI 1250, is that mandatory, Eric?
No.
No.
So we have made for the entire range of lithium-ion batteries, also the bigger models. If you buy a new battery, you don't need to, it's no longer obligatory to implement stop charge. It's recommended for the best charging experience, but it's not mandatory.
So what will happen if you don't use it? So if you just drop it in and just leave it like it is?
Most likely you have a perfect working system. There could be moments because of situations that your battery is unhappy, and then it could disconnect the switch. There's nothing wrong. You just then have to again wait a bit, reactivate everything, and it continues to work. From a safety point of view, it's a completely perfectly safe system. From a continuous operating point of view, you might miss out a little bit if you don't use stop charge.
I think Misha wants to add something.
Yeah, I have an addition, because everybody is then saying something about stop charge. But stop charge is not only for your better charge experience, it's also your better system experience. Because stop charge will also protect all your loads. And that is something which the competition doesn't do. And we take care of that.
All right. And then the last one, is a class T fuse or similar needed for the MLI 1250?
Yes. The thing is that we've also done tests here. The 1250 also has a short circuit current somewhere between 3 and 9 kiloamps. And that means that only T fuses with rating above 10 kiloamp of interrupt rating are suitable. So yes.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Michel, I think these were the questions.
Okay.
Thanks, you Hans, for the questions, Hans. Nice.
Well, Eric, Michel, thank you for your expert advice.
Yeah.
And as Hans already mentioned, a lot of questions came in and not all could be answered this afternoon. But don't worry, I will promise you, at the end of the day, all questions and answers will be put on the portal. And did you know that also the presentations are published on the portal?
But now, your last chance to train that brain muscle. Let's go to Brain Trainer. This was your last opportunity to train your brain. And again, you didn't disappoint us with sending in so many answers. Only one is correct. Marianne, do we have a winner?
Yes, Diane, we do. But for the last time, I'm going to keep you a little longer in suspense. And the question was, how many days we were both at the Magistrate since 1988? Well, that was a tricky question, because from since 2006 onwards, I was responsible for Mets events, and therefore part of the stand crew. But in the beginning, Diane was only visiting the stand, and not a member of the stand crew.
No, this happened in 2016, when the booth got bigger and bigger and the number of brands increased. Then I became a full member of the Mets event team. So the correct answer is 54 days.
Yeah, but still quite a few days. But out of my curiosity, how was it for you working with me?
Next question, please.
There are no more questions.
Okay.
In fact, this is not only the last broadcast of today, it is also the closing of the Mets Connect Me event. Unbelievable how quickly and how fun this was be. What started as a nervous operation for the both of us ended up of just that it was fun to do.
And this time, Marianne, I totally agree.
Finally.
As a big thank you to all viewers who have made this event such a success, we are going to share the Mets Connect Me digital surprise, because, in fact, we're all winners.
Surprise!
Unbelievable!
Brilliant!
Terrific!
Superb!
Excellent! Super cool!
Well done!
You're the best! We hope you enjoyed our online Mets Connect event. I had a very good time being your host. It was nice to see how many people connected and interacted with us during the online sessions.
So did I. It were 5 intensive days, but we look back on it with great pleasure. We would also like to thank all presenters, in-house and online, for their contribution. And our moderators, Michel Sandbergen and Edwin van der Kroon, who spent a lot of hours in the control room.
And of course, a big thank you to Broadcast Your Business and Stage Light for their professional support and guidance. You are also part of our success.
We did it.
Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in person again next year. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected.